Good evening, everybody, and how are we all doing today? It is another Sunday night live stream, and we're back in the podding shed. Tonight, we have got quite a huge collection of videos to get through. So let's get things started and see if anybody is actually out there. And straight away, we have got Adrian out there. Hope you are well, buddy. Then we've got Turbo Stream also out there saying good evening, Veg Podcasters. Good evening to you. We've then got Ballycillion Allotment. That's easy for me to say. Ballycillion. And again, Ballycillion Allotment Man. Good evening, Richard and Veg Growers. Looking forward to the videos tonight. There's quite a few, so I'm really pleased tonight. We have got Philly SBB. Hello, everyone. Good evening to you. We've got Kate Spratt saying evening, Veg Army. Good evening to you. We've got Oracle. Hello, Veg Army. My friend Stuart Jackson over on the other outlet. Hope you've had a good week, mate. We haven't seen you for a while. We wondered if you were okay. Lovely to see you. We have got Stuart Jackson. Evening, Richard and Veg Army. Hope everyone is well. Sorry, no plot tour. The children Jason. No worries. My computer's making noises at me, and I don't know what is going on there. We have got, when it comes up, come on, Digwell, rush, just in from the garden, sat outside making sage and onion stuffing for the roast later, plus a few apple turnovers. And he goes on to say, I forgot to say hi all. Good evening to you, Digwell. Lovely to see you. We have got Hargrave Gas. Evening all. Hope you've had a great week. The weather has been kind to us this weekend. Lovely to see you. We have got Nicola. Evening from a sunny Sussex. Good evening to you. Chili Kate is there. Hello, Richard and everyone from the Chilies. Good evening to you. We have got Anna Jones. Evening Gardeners. Good evening to you. Bethan's Kitchen and Garden. Evening all. Good evening to you. Amanda over on the Facebook group saying evening all. Anybody who's watching in the Facebook group, just let us know who you are, like Amanda has done here, because your name doesn't always come up. Then we've got Jenny. Hello, everyone. Hope you are all well. I have added to 2 new allotment sites as name has address has changed. So excited. Hope garden as well. And then we have got Scott when it comes up on the screen. It's been very slow tonight. Hopefully it's going to kick in. Scott, evening all. Good evening to you. And then Anna Costalis, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Hello, pouring with rain in Canada. Wow. So how are we all doing, and what has everyone been up to over this life? I don't know why I'm asking that question. I don't think I'm going to get time to ask for the chit chat in between. We'll try and make the most of it, but I've got my summer-long video. We've got my mission video. We've got a video from, let me get my list out here. We've got a video from Bethan. We've got a video from Digwell. We've got a video from the Chilies. We've got a video from Turbo, a video from Scott, a video from Hargrave, plus the photos. So let's get the first one going. Let's have a look at Bethan's plot as the first one to get us started.
Welcome to my garden. Today I'm going to do a really quick tour. It's like an overall tour of what I've got growing, because I've got lots of different things in lots of different places. So I won't show everything because it will take too long. So I'll just do the main things. Let's go and start. I'll start it up with garlic and then interplanted with radish. This was done about 5 days ago, so I thought the radish would have been standing up a bit better than it is at the moment. So not holding out much hope for any radish soon. This bed I just planted up today with garlic. So I've not interplanted anything with that, it's just garlic. And I've just planted this spinach in here as well, and the pak choi has been established in here for a while. And then over here I've got 2 lovage plants, and then some chives and some curly parsley here. Growing in this bed here, I've got Savoy cabbage, greyhound cabbage and carrots it's a bit of a mess at the moment, so I need to get in and do some weeding there. This is my parsnip bed. It was looking great until the wind today, which has brushed everything over. So, but there should be some good parsnip in here. If I just, there, looks like there is some parsnip there, which is good. Cover that back over. On my celeriac bed, this is looking good too. This is just beginning to bulb up quite nicely. They usually bulb in November. So that's looking good. At least we'll have some celeriac over the winter. Most of my trees have died down now. My apple trees have died down. But my blackberries here, these are coming into flower now for some reason. We've been harvesting blackberries all summer. Look, there's some big ones on there, look. So these are a good variety, because I've got 3 blackberries that I'll harvest at different times of the season, so we get a prolonged blackberry harvest. Down here I've got some nasturtiums that are being attacked by caterpillars, and then I've got some beetroot in the back of this bed here, which is getting quite monstrous actually. I need to pick that quite soon. Got an empty bed here where my broad beans are going to go, and this bed here has got cauliflowers, which I really need to pick because they're beginning to blow, and I've got one good looking cabbage there. I've got sprouts in here. These are ready to go. They I hope you can see through the net. They're a decent size. Some of them are a bit black, so I have to take the outer leaves off, but they just need a bit of cleaning and they're absolutely fine. This bed, this is a newish bed as well, planted up about 5 days ago. It's got broccoli in the 4 corners and then tiny little cauliflowers in a diamond shape. I don't know, put them in and we'll see. And then down here, these are 9 broccoli plants. So hopefully they will make it. And then over here, I've got 1 butternut squash. This is self-seeded itself. I did have my cucumbers growing up here, but they've gone over now. And I've got some Swiss chard down here. Say hello to my chickens. They're all very happy in there. They are not laying very well at the moment. I think it's more the weather, because the weather's so up and down at the moment. But they seem happy little chickens anyway. I gave them some pak choi earlier when I was clearing out the dead leaves. I've got lettuce in here. This is Celtis, and at the back is some Marvel of 4 Seasons, but I think that's got bolted. Up here I've got potatoes all the way down here, apart from this last bed that is empty, but I've got Desiree and then Cara at the back. This bed over here, my ballotti beans are ready to they're drying, but I think that probably most of them are ready for picking now, so that'll be a job very soon. They're looking good. I'm happy with that amount. Then I've got what looks like weeds, but they're actually pongo beans that I've been leaving to dry. But there doesn't seem to be much left on here now. But I'm sure there's some. So I'll get some beans off here, and then I'll weed this area and plant it up for something else. And then there's more celeriac over here. This bed was sort of like my spare celeriac there. Just coming back to the chickens. Got a couple of beds down here. I've got some fennel in here. And then this is again is some Celtis. intermingled with some marble and Four Seasons, which is bolted. But this is the chickens' lettuce. They have this self-this here, and I've also got some spring onions growing there. My dahlia bed or flower bed is still doing well. I do need to deadhead it, but it's still looking good. And my crops in pots, I've not long done a guide on what's growing at the moment there, so I won't repeat myself there. And I've got, this bed is a bit of a disaster. I keep coming every day to pick off the caterpillars, but they're still there. They seem to just keep coming back. So what we have here is a very holy bed of winter brassicas. So the sprouts, they are forming some sprouts on the stems. They probably won't be very big because they haven't got the leaves anymore to photosynthesize, but they're not looking too bad. We will have a small harvest from here. And if I just come around here, these are purple sprouting broccoli, which I'm afraid is already sprouting. So this was meant to be for March through to May time, and I think because they've had the caterpillars attack them, they're just producing earlier. So on one hand it means we'll have purple sprouted broccoli quite soon, but on the other hand we'll have a very hungry gap indeed. This is my cold frame that has lots of chilies and peppers in that I just never got around to potting on this year, and it all needs a good old water. And there's also some asparagus plants that self-seeded themselves in the front garden. And just at the back, this is my straw bale gardening. So I had those 3 squashes there, and then those 2 crown prince there, and there's another crown prince there. I've also got squashes, your cheeky cutie squashes, in this tub, and I've got another crown prince from that tub there. But all the squashes that are on the straw bale are what I got from the straw bale gardening this year. So I really enjoyed the straw bale gardening. I probably will do it again next year. Just come into the greenhouse now, and this is a big old mess in here. I need to get in here and tidy up. I've still got tomatoes growing, which is great. I've got marigolds that have gone over. I've got some peppers that need picking and basil that needs drying. More tomatoes down here. This variety is Marmande. This variety is Sweet Million. Again, I've got lots of pots that need emptying here. And well, there's some more tomatoes that need harvesting down there, and then all these pots I'll empty out of the marigolds, and I'll put something else here. However, I have just noticed that these aubergine plants, which I had put outside and I brought in, are now producing a couple of aubergines. There's one there and one at the back. Can't see any more there, but there's also a couple down here, so that's quite good. That's not too bad. We're now in the front garden. This is my asparagus bed. I've got 2 rows of asparagus here, and then I've got this self-seeded physalis plant, which is doing really well considering it's growing outside. I've got this self-seeded tomato plant here, which we've had quite a few tomatoes off, but they've got blight now, so they need to be cleared away desperately. And then up here I've got some more physalis plants or Cape gooseberries there, and one growing at the back and one growing over there. And I'm going to dig them up and grow them on in the greenhouse and see how they do in there. And then round the front here I've got my leeks growing. They're growing thin and long, so rather than sort of short and fat. So I used one the other day and they were lovely, so that's no problem at all. I've got some Christmas potatoes in these pots here. More leeks I need to build cages for here. My strawberries are over there. And then I've got a squash trellis here. These butternut squashes are huge. They probably don't look as big on camera, but they are massive. So I've got 3 there. And then the last of my outdoor tomatoes are here. This variety is Heinz that Richard sent me a few years ago now, and these are really good. These have done really well. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. That's it for my tour today. As I said at the beginning, I probably have got a lot more I could show you, but I didn't want this to be too long because I know probably Richard has got a few other plot tours to show today. So I tried to keep it small for you. And if you want to see more of what I'm doing in my garden, then check out my YouTube channel, please. It's Bethan's Kitchen and Garden. Okay, take care, everybody, and I hope you've had a lovely Sunday. Lovely job.
Sorry, everyone. It's all going wrong today. Another lovely video from Bethan's Kitchen Garden. Please do go and check her out on her YouTube channel. Well worth a watch and well worth a subscribe. Love those butternut squashes. Absolutely decent size, gotta say. And good load of veg. What I like about this is that this is all growing in her garden. I believe she might use her neighbour's garden as well, but you know, I've always said that we need to be using what we have available. If you don't have an allotment, then a home plot is great. Hopefully you can all hear me now because the sound is going on. I was going to say, I think a few people said it was a bit laggy during that tour. I'm not sure what's going on because some of the larger file sizes I couldn't upload, so I have to play from here. And typical, the signal just suddenly dropped when I hit play on that video because I get a little sign up here to tell me when the signal is poor. It's gone again now. Now it's back on me. It's gone. So we'll keep a close eye on that. And hopefully we've got a couple more videos that are going to be through that way, but we've also got some that have been uploaded. Let me just go back because there was a few comments that I saw during that time. I won't go through them all because we've got a lot to do. But as Oracle said, he's had family problems. No point boring us with it all, but you're all on my mind at 6 on a Sunday. I know I missed some time, but did Stuart Jackson get the pear tree sorted? Sorry to hear about the family problems. I hope it is all sorted now. Kate says, sorry, wasn't able to contribute this week. Not been well. The only news I have is a baby oxalotti, I think that's how it's pronounced, join our family. Yeah, I saw a picture of that. It looks an absolutely fascinating pet, gotta say. A lot of love for Bethan's plot, particularly from Turbo Stream with the accent as well. Wire or something that's causing issues because I'm hitting. There we go. I keep meaning to try Celtis, says Anna Jones. It's delicious, I think. Anyway, I know Digwell's not too keen on it, if I remember correctly, but I really like it. Scott says your celeriac is looking fantastic. There's a lovely recipe up on the website from Scott using celeriac as well. So go check that out. What else have we got? Turbo Stream says, I think Veg Podcasters HQ needs 50p in the internet meter for a boost. I don't know what's going on tonight. We have these days sometimes, don't we, where the signal just drops out for some reason. What else? I missed something from Stuart. Stuart says, the reason we had no plot tour was that the class I had for forest school wanted to learn how to take cuttings. So we did lots of herbs, and we are doing the same this week with another class. It's cuttings. It's a skill, isn't it? It's definitely well worth learning how to take cuttings and what have you. So yeah, good work there, Stuart. Digwell says 1280 by 720 is best for uploading to lives. Yeah, every video I use a software called Handbrake. Every video I receive, I run through Handbrake, and it usually reduces the file size down so I can upload it to StreamYard. But some of these bigger ones didn't reduce it down enough in order to do that. And I don't want to get too technical, but sometimes even some videos don't even reduce down enough. Is my sound still off, or can you hear me now? You must hear me. Oh, I did get it wrong. Celtis. Digwell does love. I love Celtis. I grow it every year. I thought you were somebody that said that you weren't keen on it. I must be thinking of somebody else. God knows. God knows. I'll tell you what. Loaded because do Hargrave's one, because this is a really good one. It's a short one, but it's a good one when it comes up.
A quick little look round my greenhouse, which is a forest of chilies and peppers at the current time. Clearly grew far too many. Varying results. The Hungarian hot waxes are doing really well, and they're sort of everywhere really. I've got more chilies over there. Those are meant to be padrons. They don't look like padrons though, and I've let them go red. I've got a lemon bush there, which I brought back from the dead, so I'm quite pleased with that. Down here we have white aubergine, so they're quite nice. As I said, more peppers, and these were my indoor tomatoes, which have cropped really well, and I've just left one little bunch to pick there.
Fantastic. Another great video there from Hargrave. Quite a short one, but I thought it was great to see. You know, the thing I always find with greenhouses is that we often, I'm trying to sort things out at the same time. Oh, where's it gone? I'll worry about that in a minute. We often don't use greenhouses or don't think of using our greenhouses for growing food in throughout the winter months. And this is something I've had many conversations with. So over the winter months, my greenhouse is going to be used obviously for seed sowing, but also things like lettuce and mustards and some of those healthy greens, even things like cabbages and kales, to try and make the most out of our greenhouses. It's got to be used for food growing throughout the winter months. Let's have a quick look at the comments. Hargrave Gat says we can hear you now. Excellent. I'm glad you can. Keep a close eye on what is going wrong. Turbo Stream says I need to go to Stuart's cutting class. Never seem to have luck when it comes to taking cuttings, is to get yourself some rooting hormone powder. It's pretty cheap to buy, but you just dip your cutting into some of that and put that into the soil, and it seems to help the rootings take much easier. That, and try and keep the compost consistently moist. So that's my tips with cuttings. Jenny says minimum size pot to house rhubarb until I get a plot, or I think I might have missed something there. So we'll come back to that a little bit later. Digwell says it is kale I hate. I must have got that wrong. Nicholas says you keep freezing, Richard. I think the signal does seem to have come back now, but I'll keep a close eye on it and see what happens. I'm hoping it's going to stay before I bring in one of the other videos. Digwell says Padron, which is a chili, are a Russian roulette chili. Every fifth one is hot. That sounds like a good game, though, doesn't it? Try taking a few chilies and see what is hot. Excellent stuff. Chilies and peppers look fantastic there. Absolutely. This is absolutely. Bethan says, this is the first year I've grown Celtis. How long does the stem get, excuse me, before it starts bolting? Lovely salad crop. I've never actually found it to bolt, so I don't know. Good question. I've always harvested it before it bolts, so don't know. And Digwell says, mine never get to the bolting stage. I use them when they are about a foot high. Yeah. Turbo Stream says that was a full greenhouse, and Bethan Kitchen Garden says great video on the greenhouse. Fantastic. And Hargrave Gatsby's video it was. Thank you. Greenhouse much more successful than my attempts outdoors. There we go. Let me get rid of that. I don't know what's going on with my computer. As I said, I had a bit of a tidy up in here the other day and just moved things around. And now everything seems to be jarring for some unknown reason. We'll see what happens. Jenny says, sorry, cooking and typing at the same time. What is the minimum size pot for a rhubarb until I find a suitable place in a new garden or get an allotment? I have a few plants. Right. Good question. So what I personally would look at doing for rhubarb is to grow it in, like, you know, the what I call the trugs, those sort of rubber buckets with two handles. That's probably about the right size for rhubarb. It does get quite a big plant. You can go smaller depending on the variety, but I find the big, you know, the rubber trugs that I'm talking about, the sort of thing that most gardeners have lying around, I think they are about the right size for rhubarb, but you need to put a few drainage holes in them, of course. Hargrave Gert says, I'm claiming my chilies unblocked his signal. No more buffering. That's I'm pleased. I'm keeping a very close eye on the signal just to make sure it doesn't come through and see what happens. Nicholas says, no garden video from me. Not been back to Cornwall. Extra hospital visits now. Not been a good week. I'm sorry to hear that, Nicola. Hope your dad is doing well. Thoughts with you. I'll put it like that. Obviously, your dad's not doing well, but best thoughts with you. Jenny says, I have a few trugs. Thank you. There you go. Ideal thing. And Turbo Stream says, oh no, don't tidy up. No wonder it's gone Pete Tong. Exactly. It always happens, isn't it? You tidy something up and it goes Pete Tong. So I'm going to try one of these videos that was unable to upload. So let's really test this signal and see what happens. Here we go.
Lavender, good out. Another tromboncino poking its way out there, and one behind that as well. I've just lifted all the, I don't know what they were now, calendula, a couple of brassicas in there. And this could be, I'm not sure yet, but this could be where the straw bale is going to go next year. So I put down all the old potato compost. Green manure, that's the mustard, I don't know, no, hang on. Yeah, the fumigating mustard anyway. Tomatoes all gone now, lifted the last of those today. Still got basil interplanted there, and marigolds, and a few onions as well. So that's all right. Pumpkin, he's doing all right. Nearly ready to pick now, that one, because the stalk's going yellow, look, and it sounds hollow as well, listen. Yeah, it's not far off, that one. Lightning tour, this one. Last of the cauliflowers have gone just here. And we got some cabbage in there. That's some sort of Savoy cabbage. Now this is the interesting part here. I don't know if I've shown you this before. Oh, some more buckets of compost there, I could use that. Sidetracked as usual. Right, this here was the broad bean bed. And when I cut them all down, I laid all the stalks, all the leaves and everything here, covered it with compost. And the things that were growing here was a pumpkin and a big marrow in this one. And I duplicated it as a pumpkin and a big marrow in that one. Now the marrows are about the same size, except that one's gone over now. But this pumpkin, well, that's the size of that pumpkin. And this one in the non-enhanced compost, if you like, is that big. So I think, you know, it's almost like that was a lasagna type bed. You see all the stalks in there now, look. See? Anyway. Oh, runner beans. They're so late, but they're producing like mad. I got a freezer full now. I'm giving these away to my neighbours at the moment. Another tromboncino, getting bigger all the time, this little one here. I have to tie this on. I got to tell you what, I've got to redo this frame this winter. Sturdy as it is, it's leaning over. So you can poke in there. Yeah, that'll grip round. Cool. Nasturtiums. Not much else in there now. There may be the odd squash at the far end, but I'm a bit loath to go in there. I've got to get that borage out. I've taken some out. I've got to get that lot out as well. Right, black currants. They came to nothing this year. All the proper pruning. Loads of flowers, just did not set. So I'll do it again this winter, this spring or autumn. I don't know when I do it really. Spare wood chip. This is the wild area, if you like. And that's where I put down my yellow rattle. So hopefully that'll be taking care of the couch grass there next year. Nothing from the pear tree, but it's only early days. Pond, oh that's brilliant. You wouldn't believe the number of frogs in here. I bet you we won't find one now. Because I brought the grandkids up the other day and they spent half an hour looking at frogs. Amazing. Anyway, rhubarb, that's going over now, even though it's a perennial one. Or pick it all year one. Oh, red currants, I know where to bottle with these, I don't know. I might take them up. We'll see. Blue banana squash, only the one fruit. And a baby blue Hubbard just down there by the apple tree. Yeah, corn's been very good, my best year for corn ever. And surprisingly, the early bird, this lot here, was later than the solstice, that lot there. So I'll leave it another couple of days, let the leaves die off a little bit and chop and drop or whatever. Got to lift this lot here, got more compost to go down. Leek's been terrible, absolutely terrible. And I've left these brassicas, I can't remember what they are now, to tell you the truth, these here, a couple there, as an experiment to see what does happen if I leave them. The pigeons get to them. Now in the early days, the pigeons went wild on them, look. Wild. But now they're growing. 2 rows of Brussels, 2 rows of Savoy cabbage in there. And let's show this one here, right. That's a very quick tour, guys. This summer squash, the Zephyr. I don't know, I must have had 20 to 30 fruits off this now. And that one will be going on with me today. Spare bed there, ready for, I think I might put some alliums in there over winter. Brussels sprouts under a net. I keep easing the net on this a little bit just to stop them getting squashed. Squash and squashes, loads of squashes here. And just at the end is what we were talking about last week, the Cape gooseberries. Or was it a week before? Yeah, they'll be ready soon. More squash there. Just lifted that borage and the tromboncino there. Still got some carrots, still got some tasty nasturtiums. And that's about it, guys. Got to get some potatoes out now. Oh, there's the few squash I just picked. Going mad they are, those patty pans. Running out of ideas what to cook with them. Gets a bit boring cooking the same thing all the time. Oh look, butterbush squash there. There's 2 or 3 of those in there somewhere. There's one. butter bush, the small ones. Yeah, let's get these spuds out before it decides to rain, which it invariably will. There we are, guys, just after the plot tour. Tipped out 4 buckets of the single seed potato challenge, and there's a fair few kilograms there, I'll tell you, and some decent sized spuds as well. Take care, guys.
Right, how was that video? Was that less choppy? I can't see anything my end, so let me know if that was less choppy, because the signal does seem to have bounced back into place. Let me know. Let me know. I was chuckling to myself when I saw the wood chip there did well, and the reason being, I was down on the allotment the other day, as I've had this week off work as well, so I was doing a bit of gardening, but I was down on the allotment the other day. One of my allotment neighbours, they're interesting couple. They're down there on pretty much every day. They work really hard. They bring their families down. I think it's like the grandparents that are there mostly, but their kids and their grandkids, they come down, work very, very hard. No chopping at all, says Stuart. Fantastic. But we have this wood chip delivered to our allotment. No one knows where it's coming from. It's nothing to do with the allotment society. So we've sort of said, well, help yourself. And there was a huge pile of wood chip. Well, they came down the other day, and this huge pile, which was probably as big as their shed, now went down to a very tiny pile, the amount they were helping themselves to it. It's great to have wood chip, I think. If your allotment gets wood chip delivered, or if it doesn't get wood chip delivered, ask for it to be delivered from your local council when they chop down trees and stuff. It will get used, I can guarantee it. I use it all the time. Other interesting thing on the week on a fantastic year for sweet corn, I think he said. Well, our sweet corn was very poor this year, and I couldn't figure out why. Well, I took out my sweet corn last week, and in its place, I planted out some Swiss chard. Well, when I was planting out the Swiss chard, I realised that underneath the soil was some black membrane, and that is why my sweet corn was rubbish. It just couldn't get the roots down enough, because the black membrane was in the way. So I've removed the black membrane now anyway to finish that story off. Let's have a look what people are saying. So Stuart Jackson says, I would move your name. He's probably the issue with your Wi-Fi. This little chappy here. Skinny Jean actually got that from me, believe it or not. I've had that for a while. I think that was a Christmas present from him. Anna Jones, lovely gnome. Indeed, he's all right. He's been there for a while, but as I said, I've had a bit of a tidy up and move around. You probably haven't seen it so much. Definitely growing Tromboncino next year, and fab recipe video you did, Steve. Looking forward to trying some. Tromboncino is fantastic, absolutely well worth growing. I think a lot of the squashes have done well this year, but there's so many that we could grow, isn't there? Digwell has a great plot and Brummy, accent, L-O-L. A lot of lovely accents coming out tonight. Jenny says, looking great, Digwell. Indeed it is. Digwell says, not choppy here. Looking great, Digwell. And Digwell says, thank you. The video was a lot better, no chopping around. Fantastic. Great vid. Not sure about the Brummy accent allegations. Pure West Country. Brian's Garden and Polytunnel has joined. Hi all, good evening. When it comes up, I can hear every time it's slow. I can hear my computer make a weird noise. Anna Jones, runner beans lasting well. Mine all shriveled up weeks ago. I got rid of my runner beans as well, so you're not the only one. They kind of done. I'm not a lover of runner beans, I'll be honest. My wife likes them, so I grow them for her, but I got rid of them. I had enough. Digwell says, honoured to be a member of the Black Country. And Nicholas says, freezing again. We'll muddle through. I can't do much more about it, I'm afraid. It happens sometimes, doesn't it? doesn't it? Right, I'll tell you what we'll do next. Let's do one of my sow along videos. Now, this was, I can't remember who chose it last week, but it was to sow sweet peas. So, not one I normally do, but perhaps you can answer some of the questions for me.
Right, well, this week you decided you wanted me to sow sweet peas, which is slightly unusual for me. I do grow sweet peas occasionally, but normally I stick with edible crops. But this is up to you guys, whatever you want me to sow. Sweet peas. So, like we did last week, I'm using my root trainers filled up with multi-purpose compost. These are the deep root trainers. They're deeper than the normal ones, basically. I like these because effectively they're making their own plug plants. When we want to plant these out, we open the books up and pot them out. So multi-purpose compost and the trays, and then we have got these sweet pea seeds. Now these sweet peas were actually saved by my little sister, and that's why they're in the jam jar. And she grows sweet peas, saved the seeds and passed them on to me. So I thought it's a good chance to sow these this week. So we don't need to be too deep. I'm going to go about 2 centimetres deep in each little plug plant. Like there's 4 done. And then we just take each little seed and drop it in to each and every hole. Now I don't know quite where the name sweet pea come from. I don't know if they're actually related to our normal edible peas in any way. They are just known as sweet peas, but they're fairly easy to grow. Again, they do grow a bit like peas in that we need to grow them up something to hang on, to climb up and make the most out of. So we can actually sow these at this time of year, as I'm doing now, in order to grow them over winter, much like peas as well. And then that will give us an early flowering next spring. Something quite nice about sweet peas I've always found, as I said, I have grown these in the past. They've got a really nice smell to them. The flowers are quite well liked, especially if you are growing cut flowers. Wide range of things that I guess they are useful for. If you use sweet peas in any particular way, let us know in the comments. Also, let us know how you go about growing sweet peas, because as I said, I don't normally grow these. For me, these are something that we start the seed off and we leave to their own devices. Now, much like the broad beans that we sowed last week, these are going to be in the trays inside the greenhouse, just waiting for them to germinate before we get them out. And like last week, we're going to have 32 of these plants, which is probably plenty for us, but more on that as these develop. We will keep a close eye on these in the future, and I'll keep reporting back on how they do. Right, so all I'm going to do now, I'm just going to give it a bit of a shake, just to cover all the seeds over. And then I'll put that in this tray and give it a good watering. Right, back to the studio.
I keep meaning to say back to Richard in the studio when I transfer back to these as a bit of a laugh, talking to myself sort of thing. One day I will do that. Yeah, sweet peas. I don't know much about what to say about sweet peas, to be honest. I know they're a popular one to grow. They're not really edible, which is why I don't tend to grow them so much usually. But yeah, any tips or anything like that, then please do let us know. Scott says, we shared a link for free wood chip that you can set up, and tree surgeons use it to get rid of their wood chips. I did sign up to that a while ago, but it never quite worked out how I had hoped. I think it was sort of like they dump it at the side. But yeah, it's a good idea. If you can go sign up to something like that and you need wood chip, well worth signing up to and do the best. Toby Stream says, when I grow sweet peas, the green fly get them before I do. Yeah, there we go. Learning a bit there, so who knows. Sweet peas, Stuart Jackson says, when you get the first true leaves, pinch the top out, then you will get a stronger plant. See, that Are you going to change over? Because come on. There we go. Computer got going there. Jenny says, I grow sweet peas early spring direct. They always get too leggy for me otherwise. Maybe not next spring, though, as I have heavy clay. Spending the autumn and winter trying to improve that. Plenty of organic matter, I'm sure, will soon sort that out. A signal, it just dropped out for a minute there as well, so we'll keep an eye on it. Might be where your wood chips are coming from, where I had trouble. Yeah, I think it was just a bit difficult to organise, because technically we can't take them to the allotment. They would have had to be dumped at home, and then it was sort of, the way I read it on that website is they would dump it by the side of a road. That's not going to wash down well here. So yeah. Taboo Stream says they do smell nice in a vase though, these sweet peas. Yeah, I know they do. Again, I remember on my old allotment over at Brighton, we had this sort of at the bottom next to the shed and neighbouring our neighbours, more on their neighbours' side to be fair, we had this load of bramble area, and that is where sweet peas would just naturally grow. And what then happened was they became full of sweet peas. It was great, brought in the pollinators and stuff, but they were mixed amongst all these brambles and things. And like I said, I only really grow edibles. So, you know, you guys asked me to do a sow along of sweet peas. That's what we did. Get your ideas. If you've got a sow along for next week that you would like me to sow, then get your ideas down. But they would not allow locked. That was the other trouble I had actually. Yeah, but swings and roundabouts. It's something worth looking at if you do need some wood chips. Swig of coffee, much needed to wet the old whistle. We have still got 3 more plot tour videos to go and the mission video. So let's go to, as Scott has just been talking about his wood chip, let's go to Scott's allotment. Sorry.
Hi everyone, hope everyone's having a nice weekend. Not much going on at the allotment at the moment. I think I planted things a bit too early this year and didn't successfully sow. But anyway, we'll have a look around regardless. So this side of the allotment I've had for about 3 years. The first year I just grass seeded everything. And then the second year I created these 2 long beds, but then covered with weed suppressant and just planted into that pumpkins. And then this year I've just left it open and been mostly growing beans, sweet corn and squash this side, with flowers mixed in. And then up here is the fruit tree area. I think I'm allowed up to 12 trees, so I'm going to add some more at some point. And then over here is the kind of little wildlife area that I'm trying to create. I've got a pond there, but it's got a leak in, so I need to sort that out over winter. And then this side of the allotment, I think I've had it for about 4 or 5 years. And this side's mostly raised beds with wood chip paths. So I've got a big bed here that needs weeding, but it's got beetroot, Swiss chard and fennel that's typically bolted. I have some sunflowers here. This Jerusalem artichokes, I mean, nobody needs this many Jerusalem artichokes. So this year I'm going to remove them and I think keep a few back and plant them into a smaller bed. So this bed had flowers in, I can't remember what they were called. And then this bed here, I'm going to sow some broad beans here to overwinter. Another couple of little beds here that had, I think, courgette and a squash in there. Big bed here that had sweet corn in that did really well this year. Then I've got a line here at smaller beds, celeriac in this one, perpetual spinach, and some salad in here that I need to pick. This bed here is chicory. I think these were the Supporters Club seeds that are doing really well, and the same with the kohlrabi. They were Supporters Club seeds, and the kale here was Supporters Club seeds. And then I've got some sprouts that are looking a bit ropey, but I think I'll get a few meals off them. And then I've got another 2 beds here. One's got rocket in, some more beetroot in this one, and a couple of spinach plants that have survived the slugs. Then I had 3 small beds here, and I was growing sweet peas in them this year. And then these beds I was growing peas and tomatoes. And then this area here, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. So I've got my soft fruit area. I need to do something about the netting next year. Maybe look at not having it, but then the birds eat everything. So that's something I'm working on. I've got globe artichokes here. And this area here I want to turn into like a herb garden. I've got a rosemary there and that's it for now. But this is going to be a herb garden, and then each side is globe artichokes. Got a compost area here that needs sorting out. This bit's all a bit weedy, as you can see, and some strawberry beds here that need weeding. And that's it, that's my plot in October.
There we go, another video from Scott. Our first video, I think. No, it's not the first video from Scott, but it certainly shows a lot going on. I've changed cameras in case you haven't noticed. But yeah, what I liked about that, Scott, you said about getting rid of Jerusalem artichokes. I'm thinking to myself, they are a bugger to really get rid of. You really have to basically really dig over the ground to try and get rid of as many as possible. And then even next year, I would expect a few to grow. Once they get about 2-3 foot, pull them out, and then hopefully that will get rid of all of them. If that's any use, that's my advice when it comes to getting rid of Jerusalem artichokes. Switch camera again. Technology, bit of a gadget fan myself. But yeah, another lovely plot. It's great to see. What I'm really liking is just how much difference we're seeing in all the plots. And here we are, beginning early, coming up to mid-October, when a lot of people's gardens are starting to pass over. I know we've had funny weather this year, but we're still full of vegetables. It's great to see, absolutely. So quickly go to the comments. A lot of talk about growing. Let's start with this one. Time Extreme says, we get an occasional drop of wood chips. I found they encourage weeds in the paths. Interesting. Yeah, they're not perfect for stopping weeds in paths. I think you have to lay down some membrane underneath, but bushes just to conserve a bit of moisture. That's what I do with it anyway. Anna Jones says pollen beetles can be a nuisance on sweet peas. Didn't know that. As I said, this is all a learning curve for me when we get into these particular things. So very happy to learn a bit more about that. What else have we got? So Ballycillian says, I grow sweet pea on the wire frame as a windbreak for my seating area. That's a good idea, isn't it? This is where I tend to grow my non-edibles, is to help my edible plants. So sweet peas, windbreak, good idea. Thank you very much for that. Scott says, our gate is locked. You can add your number and they ring you, and I give them a code for the gate. Yeah. Ours is all keys, and we're not really meant to let anybody in. But yeah, all something to think about, isn't it? Stuart Jackson says, sorry, got to go. See you next Sunday. Lovely to see you, Stuart. Hope you take care. Digwell says, nice one, Scott. Nice one. Thank you. Toby Stream says, nice plot, Scott. Thank you very much. And Bethan says, great tour, Scott. I'm the same as you. I planted cabbages to see us through the winter, and they are all ready now. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about as well. Jenny says, looks like a nice plot. I need to drain my pond. Best time is now before the hibernating wildlife settle in the bottom of the pond. Love the wildlife area. Please keep us updated on it. There we go. And Scott says, yes, agree. I think it's going to be a long process getting rid of them or reducing them. Yeah, that does happen. Digwell says, Jackie Chan audio lagging. I think that always happens with this show, actually. I've been trying to figure out a workaround to stop it from lagging. I know what's going on. It says a delay with turning microphones into digital sounds that causes the audio lagging, and I can't figure out how to do it. Anyway, Turbo Stream says, I re-sowed some cauliflowers today. Hopefully they will overwinter my porch, ready for spring planting. They'd probably be able to go outside, to be honest, if they are big enough and strong enough before the spring, although you do get quite cold. Yeah, keep us updated, Turbo Stream, with how you get on with those. It'd be interesting to see just what happens with those. Tigwell says, try talking before your mouth. You mean like this? No, I'm gonna. It's because I'm using a mixer, so I can have the phone line and stuff like that. That I have to do digital audio. I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out to try and improve that. It's been bugging me for a while now, but you haven't noticed it so much until today. That worked. That worked. Yeah, indeed. Right, let's go to another plot tour. Oh, let me hit that button correctly. And here we go.
Hello everyone, I'm Kate and Phil's away on Scout Camp, so it's just me today. I just wanted to give you our plot tour for October. So, I don't know if you remember from last year, we started off with the bottom end and made 4 veg beds. So this bed here is number 4. It has had, well, it's supposed to be the bean bed, but runner bean plants which are just on the end there, which are just coming to the end. And then we've also got in here autumn squashes. So we've got butternut squash, baked potato squash, celebration squash, and then down at the end stretching out is ichiki curry squashes, and there's a load of nasturtiums left as well. So the second bed, bed number 1, is the brassica bed this year. So we've got a load of gone over cauliflowers, but what's exciting is we've got lots of Brussels sprouts hopefully coming along for Christmas. And then round the back of bed 1, I've just taken out all of the courgettes. We had a couple of sunflowers there as well, just left 1 courgette down the end because it looks like it's still productive. So this is bed 2. Bed 2 this year was potatoes and tomatoes. Obviously the tomatoes went quite early with blight, and we got a good harvest of potatoes. So what I've done now as part of our rotation is I've now planted up some spring cabbages, so this will be our brassica bed next year. So we've got here under the tunnel spring cabbages, and next to that is some pak choy and wongbok, which possibly a bit late, but we'll see how it goes. I've just been doing a bit of weeding and quite surprised to see that I've still got a load of cucumbers that I hadn't realised I had. So if anyone's got any ideas for slightly gone over cucumbers, then yell. Also got here 1 little chilli plant, and hopefully I'll give you a bit of a shot of our front garden where you'll see a lot more of our chilies. We love growing chilies, as you can probably guess. A couple of basil bed 3 is this year is our roots bed. It's my next on my list for a bit of a weed, but basically down the front here we've got parsnips, down the back there is celery, lots of leeks which are growing really well, and down here carrots and some beetroot that haven't come up very well, but some have, so we'll see how that goes. So that's the bottom end. And then you come onto the top end. So this is an area that we hadn't done anything with this time last year, but we've now got a whole row there of raspberries, and on the end is a blackcurrant bush. Now that blackcurrant bush is going to be relocated because where the black tarp is and all along this row will be another fruit row where we will have some tayberries. We'll relocate the blackcurrant bush, probably 1 more bush, and possibly debating a small plum tree. We'll see. Phil's also added the compost bush, and then just beside that, you can't quite see it, is the rhubarb because that's all died down. And next to the rhubarb will be a small, where the Dalek bin is now, it's an empty Dalek bin, will be a wildflower bed. So try and get some more pollinators in. And then here we have strawberries. we have a massive second flush. I've just picked a couple and there's a couple more on there, so that will be interesting. We've got our lovely new shed, really pleased with that, and you probably can't see, but down the back is our new water butt. And then just in front of the shed here, you see there's a lovely area. Got garden, and we will have ourselves a lovely little patio area, possibly with some pots along the side, but we will see. So that is our allotment plot. So this is our front garden video. We actually took inspiration for using the front garden from Richard. Our front garden is actually south facing, which means it's ideal for some of the hotter climate things that we grow on the front garden. So let's have a little look. So here we have basil, and then we have a Szechuan pepper. Something's been nibbling the top, I don't quite know what, but I'm sure we'll find out. And then we've got a selection of chilies. So we have here basket of fire. Just behind that, the green one is lemon aji, and at the back there with some red fruits is Shakira. At the very front here is the Roxy, which came from the subscriber club, and there is some sort of basil, I can't remember what it's called, some unusual basil there, but that's really, really tasty. It's almost like a Thai basil. Then a couple of peppers, so these were gifted as seeds to me by Digwell, so thanks Digwell. We have got Hallow, Citrina, that one there. Oh, we've got another basket of fire there. And then we've got here at the front 2 habaneros, which haven't actually fruited at all, but Phil's hoping to use these for overwintering. So our little friend Reggie. Aubergines, so I think they're supposed to be quite small fruits anyway, so hopefully we'll be able to get something off that. And then the king of the north peppers here, and then we've just got a selection of sunflowers and various flowers which have been designed to attract lots of pollinators to our front garden, because it's lovely to see the bees and the butterflies. There you go, so that's our front garden.
There we go, another fantastic plot tour, this time from Kate and Phil, aka the chilies. Great to see. I love the chilies and using your front garden. I do think that you know, we should be using our front gardens much more in our, if that's all the space we've got. I do think it is pretty important. So thank you so much for that video. Hopefully, I don't know if it was lagging because it kept warning me there was something going on there, but I don't know how it was for you guys. But what I think I'll do, for everyone who has submitted a video today, we've still got one more plot tour to do as well, but if everyone who has submitted a video today is okay with it, I will upload all these plot tours to the Facebook group in order to so everyone can see them without any lagginess. If that is okay with everyone, I will do that. If anybody does have a problem with it, let me know, and we'll do that. I know not everybody's in the Facebook group, but it's the easiest way for me to do it, unless I do a channel, something on YouTube for it. But the Facebook group is probably the easiest way. Let us know. Let us know. So during that time, Stuart Jackson has issues today. We'll try to figure out what's going on. Go on. There we go. Anne says, like the look of that kale, Scott, purple. I can't remember what this kale was, but yeah, nice purpley coloured one. Digwell says cucumber dill relish, talking about the cucumbers that Kate had that were gone over. I feed mine to the chickens when they get like that, if that's any use. I don't know if you've got chickens. I don't think you do, but I feed mine to the chickens so that they can enjoy it, and basically it doesn't go to waste. Tailgate Stream says, another lovely plot. Indeed, another lovely plot. And Stuart says, going back to your sweet peas, Richard, mice like them, so I'm just passing this bit of info on to all. Also protect from hard frost. Yeah, same with the peas and the broad beans we did last week. Mice always like them. Bethan says, great allotment plot. Love the home garden too. Chilies look great. Love the new shed. I've got a picture of the shed coming up in the photos in a little bit as well. Scott says, great plot, Kate. I have to shoot off, but I will catch up tomorrow and the rest. Have a good night, everyone. Take care, buddy. Nice to see you. Anna Jones says, great plot and garden. Indeed it is. Always good to see. Digwell says, chilies look good. Love to know the habaneros over winter okay. Never managed to make it a success. I knew somebody, and I never knew how he did this because he was not a gardener, but he would literally leave his chili plants outside little village and they would survive. They years old by the end of it, but they were still going well. So yeah, chilies are much hardier than I think we realise. Digwell says okay with me, and Chili Cake says okay with me, so that's good. Chili, great idea. I'll look at that, Digwell, talking about the chilies. Ian says, Ian McGregor has joined. Sorry I'm late watching the touring car. Oops. Everyone's talking about the touring car this weekend. Is it a big thing on or something? Shows how much I know. Okay with me too, says Bethan. Excellent so far. Chili Phil says, better having an attempt at overwintering than composting them after having zero fruit this year. Got to be worth a go. You've got nothing to lose, have you? That's what I always say with these sort of things. Nothing to use by giving it a go. So why on earth not? Right, yeah, let's we've got one more video. This is Turbo's video, and let's see. The signal looks like it's going to hold out. So let's go see Turbo's allotment.
So this is my October plot tour. It's Adrian, aka Turbo Stream. So this is my main grown area. There's not a lot to show this time, to be fair. The areas to the left and right, I've sowed some green manure. There were potatoes in the left, beans on the right. It's gone very windy. So we've got a few leeks down there. With Brussels sprouts and kale. And then to the left was my experiment grown in 4 foot square space, but it's going a bit overgrown, so that'll need digging out, I think, soon. This is it from the other side. I've got beetroot, I've got the tomatoes got blight, there's a few leeks left, but it was a bit of a disaster really. I think I've grown the wrong type of stuff. Some runner beans there which I might leave to go to seed. There's some perennial spinach, so that'll need clearing out fairly soon. This is a new tunnel I put up to grow some calabrese, I think it was I've put in there, but it seems to have been eaten, everything's been eaten, so I might just dig that up and not bother. Put it as a bad job. And that's the other side of the brassica cage. Kale's doing okay, I've got some swede in there as well, and a few onions. This is the soft roots area, so I've expanded the strawberries this year. I noticed there's a few weeds in there, these weeding soon. One of the main disadvantages of putting in leaves, uncomposted leaves as a mulch, is it's introduced a lot of weed, and they'll do that again. And we've got red currants, gooseberries behind, rhubarb, with the leaves I'll use them as for making compost and then spread the leaves. So this area needs a bit of tidy now. Just to the right of that is my leaf bulb bin, which is leaf mould bin even. Which half of that's gone, hasn't it? That's really gone down. So I need to start again, I think, soon. And a bit of this is untidy bit. It's a bit shady by these damson trees behind. So not a lot grows there, so it seems a fairly good place for put in compost bins. I may rejig that, have a proper compost area at some point. I don't know when. And this is my other square, which I'm just slowly dividing into sections. So I've got some field beans at the front. That was onions. The butternut squash didn't do anything this year. They were sown too late. So note to self, Richard, when you're sending out the butternut squash seeds, send them out in May rather than July. Don't think I've got any. This hasn't been a long enough season for them. It was cold. There's ages to get going. Now it's October. And then I've got a row of parsnips down the front full of calendula. So those will come up soon. The raspberries have gone completely mental this year, so I need to work out a better way of staking them. They're supposed to stand up to themselves, and to be fair they have, but this year they've gone really tall. I've got so many raspberries I don't know what to do with them, so I'm going to leave them for the birds. I've got enough what I want now. And this is my flower cum wildlife area. It's looking a bit bedraggled now, but in the summer it was lovely. I've noticed I've got some nice flowers there and then sedums. I've got some blue hardydraums, so there's a few oxide daisies still going. So the idea is to leave this now, even though it looks a bit untidy, is to leave it for somewhere to all the bugs and the bees to overwinter. So I'm not going to touch this at all. I'll then redo it in the spring, clear it all out in the spring, ready for the next year. And this is my little flower board I planted just by the shed, so I can got my compost bin there, and there's the shed and the sharing shack behind my shed. So this is done really well this year actually. Again, I'm going to leave this mostly to fend for itself, and then in the spring I shall chop it all back and start again. Let it all sort itself out. So that really is my October plot tour.
There we go. That was another plot tour there from TurboStream, Adrian, aka TurboStream. And about the butternut squashes, I think I sent them out in June, if I remember correctly. Which, if they were sown early enough, should have done okay. But I'll try and get them out earlier. So many things that we can sow, and to try and space it out, it can sometimes be a bit tricky. But I'll see what we can do. Let's see what everybody else is saying in the comments. What have we got? Ian says it's the last race meeting of this year, talking about the British Super touring cars, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't follow it, so it's all alerted to me. Digwell says, lovely Gloucester accent at Stuart Jackson says, it's lovely to see everyone's plot. I will try again this week to get the class to do a plot tour as the compost is being delivered for all 7 beds. Please do feel free to send us a plot tour or any videos at any time. We don't have to time it for plot tours. It's just seems like a good subject for this week. Ian says, got some really big potatoes out of my compost heap this year. That's only this year's that's only this year's compost, mostly grass cuttings. It's always amazing, isn't it, how well, I think sometimes the heat from the compost heap actually helps grow some good potatoes in some ways. So, yeah, good to hear, it's brilliant. Tigran talking about the accents. Ginny Kate says, I've just had a panic that I left the Brassica tunnel open. Is anyone telepathic or do I need to go and check? No, I can't see. It's too dark, I'm afraid. I tried. But don't panic. Just go down early tomorrow if you've got time before you go to work. Digwell says, great looking plot at TurboStream. And we have got TurboStream says, the summer was cold up here, so the butternut squash didn't grow till September, so are behind. Yeah, to be fair, it's been a funny year as well, hasn't it? So we've got we haven't had any butternut squashes yet, but I think last year we harvested ours in November, so there's still time. There's still time. Bethan says, great tour, Turbo Stream. Always great to leave some flowers for the insects to overwinter in. Indeed, it is. I always think overwintering is saying, or leaving, as gardeners, I should say, we are too tidy sometimes. And sometimes just leaving some of those sort of bad stuff, or what we think is bad stuff, for birds or for insects to overwinter in, will do the garden a world of good next year. So there's definitely something about not being so tidy. Anna Jones says, I tried pushing uncomposted leaves into my flower border. Got sycamore seedlings everywhere. Wouldn't do it again. It's a trouble, isn't it? That is a trouble, especially with sycamore. I would be inclined to compost them down, or run them over with a lawnmower to chop them up before using them as a mulch with a bit of grass clippings. Does seem to help, but sycamore seedlings, that's always a problem. Sycamore is pretty difficult to compost as well. What else have we got here? Come on. The machine is, there we go. Digwell says, always grim up north at Turbo Stream. You're all up north for me, so that's all I can say on that. Turbo Stream says, there are a few small fruits on the squash, so we'll leave them till the first frosts. Hopefully this heat will bring them on a bit quicker. Yeah, ours are a bit on the small side, but still be edible. Still be edible is all I would say. Talking about the butternut squash, that is. Our butternut squash failed at school this year. Last year we had about 20 from 2 plants, so just a bad year, I think. I have to agree. It has been a bad year for butternut squash, and a few other things for that matter. Always Digwell says, talking about this thing. And Nicola says, still freezing. I can't do much, I'm afraid. It's out of my hands. Right, we've got a mission and a video. So let's do the mission video, which I think it was Digwell that set this mission up, actually. I quite enjoyed this one. Digwell, do you remember what it is? If you don't, here it comes.
From the studio down to the allotment. Now, this week's challenge was set to show some deep-rooted weed removal, and luckily we've got some in this bed. Armed with my fork, so let's get in there and see what we can do. So here we go. You can see we've got these weeds just here. They need to come out, and there's a good collection of them. So what we got to do is actually dig these ones out, which is unusual for me. As you know, I'm not really a digger, but when it comes to these roots, we have no choice. Now, I just tried pulling in that one and it's not coming, so we've got to go deeper, because what we don't want to do, in fact we have a few of the roots here that have come up, what we don't want to do is snap these roots as we pull them, because otherwise that means they can regrow. There's quite a few of these. I can't remember what these weeds are called off the top of my head right now, but there are quite a few of them. And although if we constantly hoed them and never allowed them to pot up some leaves, the roots will eventually die. So, but that is quite risky. Right, just heard a crack from my fork there, as if that was going to snap. I'm on a very heavy clay soil here, so I'm trying to extract so we can get this real deep-rooted one. This is couch grass roots as well that we get here, which can be a bit of a pain. But that one, still deeper, so I'm going to make that hole a little bit bigger, which gives me the chance to take out some of these other roots as well.
There we go. Slowly we are getting there with this. I never said this was going to be a quick job. If only. There we go. We've got that all out in one go. That's a good 30 centimetres of root. Maybe a bit more, maybe nearer 45 centimetres, but it just goes to show how deep these things go. But there we go, mission accomplished. Deep rooted weed removal. Back to the studio.
Reason I don't normally dig, but those sort of bad ones, they need to come out somehow. So that was a good one. I did say I couldn't remember what the weed was. So you know how it is when you're recording videos, the brain, well, if you record videos, that is, brain just suddenly goes. Digwell says dock leaves, the native weed on our site. Indeed, yes. Yeah, indeed, that was it. Nicholas says, God knows what my squashes, cabbages, tomatoes and sweet corn, lettuce and potatoes doing. Beans has gone over 6 weeks ago. I know, Nicola. Don't worry about your veg. Worry about your dad is all I can say. That's all you can do. I know it's hard, but your dad is a priority. Just remember that. Turbo Stream says, dock weeds from the leaves all over my plot. Now, lesson learned. Yeah, if you rotivate or you cut up those roots into tiny little pieces, you end up with a lot more. That's why, really, you've got to remove them. Like I say, if you constantly hoed them and never allowed any of the leaves to develop, the roots will eventually die, but it will take quite a while, in all honesty. Digwell is calling me a cock. Thank you very much. I'm sure that's not what he's doing. I think that's a spelling mistake. Stuart says, question time. Can I... If it's a big established plant, that is a cold weather is a cold weather plant, so it does do quite well outside over winter. So yeah, definitely fine for that. Or should I put them in the veggie pod? They'll go fine in the veggie pod as well, so give it a try. Docks are like comfrey. They pull the nutrients from deep down, so the leaves are great for composting and making tea with. Yes, biodynamic accumulator is the word for them. So yeah, definitely a good thing. Needs rain and double digging, says Ian. We don't dig, but yeah, it do need a bit of rain. That the soil is very hard. That would go away that quite easily, that, to be fair. Nicholas says, hopefully getting home for the next weekend for 3-4 days, still holding the fort. Dad's a priority is all I can say there, mate. Benny said, leaves are great for rubbing on nettle stings. I've done that yesterday. All my arm, I had nettle stings. And Ian, when I used my rotivator, where I had one worm, I ended up with 2. That's the same with Doc. Right, we have got your photos, but I do need quickly a mission for next week and a seed to sow next week. And next week, the show is the Alternative Veg Grower Show. Those of you that have sent in your pictures for next week, let's see how we get on. I think it's going to any last minute pictures in. I'll add the link if you want to see the categories. Where is it? That one. If you want to see the categories or anything, you want to get some last pictures in, then please do. What have we got? Let's go to these pictures and see what we've got. There we go. So first of all, Turbo Stream took this snap of the allotments at Holyhead. Look at that. That must be incredibly close to the sea. Was it a river there? I'm not sure. But either way, I'm imagining there's quite a bit of salt in the air there. So very, very interesting. Scott was asking if this is the squash that he thinks he planted. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. Galax DS. Yeah, we're not going to try and pronounce that. I think it is. The looks of it with the warts and everything. See what happens. It looks absolutely fantastic, I've got to say. What else have we got? Anne, all the way in Canada, busy making blackberry jam. And what a lovely collection of stuff going on. It always makes me happy to see jam making and stuff like that. Mainly because I get the idea of the smell and things as well, don't you? But I've got to say, in the group, if you want to go and check those out, lovely scenes. Chili Kate mentioned in her video about her water butt and her shed, and they've been busy painting the shed. It looks really good, I've got to say. Fantastic thing to see. And the water butt for me is just a great thing to finish it off. There we go. So please do keep sharing those photos. Post them in our Facebook group. Send them to me via social media. Send them to me via social media or email me, richard@veggrowerpodcast.co.uk. So let's get rid of that. Lovely to see. Where were we? Nicholas says, I bought a homemade hot bin for £35 with liquid fertilizer collection tray. Nice. Absolute bargain now, I've got to say. Turbo Stream, Nicola, been there twice. You need to look after yourself too. Yeah, indeed. Nicola says, can I on Thursday if I have any? Probably talking to somebody in the voice writing softwares call up with it. Turbo Stream says the Hollyhead plots are literally next to the sea. That must cause problems with the salt. Reduce the weeds though, wouldn't it, as well? Yeah, interesting, very interesting. Love Hollyhead, great holiday place, indeed. Right, we are coming to the end of this week's show. Like I said, I need a seed to sow next week and a mission like what we did this week. Really did enjoy the deep weed root removal. Yeah. Digwell says, off topic, are Giga Clear installed in fibre broadband in your area, Richard? £19 a month for huge bandwidth. No. I have spent months trying different companies to see if they have any plans to install it. Even some that are installing it like 2 streets away. Nothing coming here at all. Nothing coming in my street at all. But I keep checking so I can try and get decent broadband. I could do with some what's his name's Elon Musk's version, but I don't know how that works. Nicholas says photos for alternative veg. Yeah, please do. If you've got some, send them over for next week. Turbo Stream says collies for next week. Yes, collies for the summer long. And Ballycillian comes up with for preparing tools for winter. Yep, we will do that. I see Nicola came up with homemade cloche as well. Save that for the week after, I think, if you remind me next week. Yeah, plenty of things. There we go. That's the seeds and mission for next week. Thank you so much. Digma says Starlink is a bit pricey. Elon Musk. Yeah, that's the one. It is pricey, but if it gives me decent internet, that's what I need. That's all I really care about, to be honest. It probably work out the same as what I'm paying when I break it down, but yeah. Right, guys, it is 7:30. It is time to close this shed up and head on inside. Thanks so much for sticking with us tonight. I know we've had signal problems. We will try and improve that. Like I say, I will upload these videos into the group if anybody does want to watch them. And nobody has said no, so all of them will go up there. If you want to go and check them out, then please do. Right, guys, yeah, let's set myself up so I can get out of here. Right, you take care, guys, and I'll see you next Sunday at 6. We will do it all again. And podcast out tomorrow as well, where I went to Bateman's and Rudyard Kipling's family home and had a look at a vegetable garden there. Well worth a visit. Right, guys, you take care. I'll see you again next time.